Hi everyone, good evening. This is Mayama and I'm your buddy at Seekho. A few days back, a guesstimate was given in the community, and the guesstimate was to estimate the number of uh, Yahoo searches per second globally. And today I will be solving that guesstimate for you. I've already solved that guesstimate on a piece of paper in front of me, so I'll just share my approach with you. So the approach that I've taken here is that I'm assuming that because we are calculating it globally, I've taken the world population to be 7 billion. And then I've assumed that about 50% of people have access to internet, which brings the number to 3.5 billion people. And we will account for Yahoo's share in the search inquiries to be about 20%. Because Yahoo searches are not the only competitor when it comes to online searches. There are different other search engines also. So we've taken the share of Yahoo to be 20% in this particular case. So now, in the above 3.5 billion, one thing which was missing in a lot of your answers was that there was no classification between developed, developing, and underdeveloped countries. This is an assumption that I would like you all to make, wherein because it's globally, so whenever you have a guesstimate which is having global population, it's always better to divide it into developed, developing, and underdeveloped countries. So we'll assume that 20% of the countries of the 3.5 billion, the number we arrived at because of 7 billion, then 50% having access to internet. So out of these 3.5 billion people who have access to internet, we are assuming 20% of them are from developed countries, 60% of them are from developing countries, and 20% of them are from underdeveloped countries. Now let's put some numbers here. From 3.5 billion, 20% of these people are from developed countries, which makes the number to about 700 million people. 60% are from developing countries, which makes the number to about 2.1 billion. And 20% are from underdeveloped countries, which makes the number to be 700 million. Now, we can also assume that developed countries have access to high-speed internet. Thus, we can assume that the number of queries that would come from developed countries would be high. So here I'm choosing that there are 5 as the average number of queries per day per user. So if I am a user in a developed country like the US, I'm assuming that I will make 5 queries on average per day as a user because of having high-speed connectivity. Similarly, if I am from an underdeveloped country or a developing country, this number would be lesser because I don't have access to smartphones the same way people from developed countries have, right? So we can assume that the number of queries that would be there in the other 40% would be 2 queries per user per day. So if I'm coming from a developed country, there are 5 searches I would make as a user. And if I'm coming from an underdeveloped or a developing country, the number of average searches I'm taking is to be 2. And the reason for that has been stated is the network connectivity. Now, for if you want, for underdeveloping countries, you can even have a lesser rate, which can be about 0.25 queries per day per user. This is an additional filter that we are putting. If you want, you can keep it to be two per user only. But in this case, I have put the bracket as 5 for developing countries, 5 for developed countries, 2 for developing countries, and 0.25 for underdeveloping countries. Again, all of these are just assumptions because of the underlying principle of internet connectivity. These numbers can change according to you. But again, obviously, the highest percentage should be of the developed country, followed by a developing and then underdeveloped country. Now, let's go forward and apply for the filters and come out a number. Now, in the developed countries, we came to a number of 700 people, 700 million people, and we are assuming that there are 5 queries per day. So I will divide 700 with 5, which will bring to a number of 3.5 billion queries per day. For developing countries, it would be 2.1 billion divided by 2, which would bring us to a number of 4.2 billion queries per day. And for underdeveloped countries, it would be 700 million divided by 0.25, which would be 350 million queries per day. Now, with this logic, the total queries would be 3.5 billion plus 4.2 billion plus 350 million, which would be about 7.8 billion queries per day. Now, these 7.8 billion queries are from the entire world, including the developing, developed, and underdeveloped nations. Now, the queries per second. Now, we need to perform some mathematical calculations here. We'll divide 7.8 billion with 24 into 60 into 60. This number is done because the queries were 7.8 billion was per day. So 24 hours, 24, 1 hour has 60 minutes, and then in further divided by 60 seconds. So we will be having a number of 9,000 searches approximately per second. As a final step in the beginning, we told you that Yahoo accounts for 20% of this particular share. So we will now use 9,000's 20% share, which would be 1,800 searches per second. Thus, using this approach, it would be fair to assume that the number of Yahoo searches per second globally is approximately 1,800 searches per second. I hope you like the approach that I've taken. I did analyze other approaches also that were taken by you. Some of them were close to this number, and if your approach was also close to this number, you did the right job. But again, the filter of dividing into underdeveloped, developing, and developed countries is something which is highly appreciated and can be taken place. If you have any more queries, feel free to reach out to us, and we look forward to have more sessions with you like this. Thank you.